Welcome to the talk show, Lighting the Educational Flame, with your host, Mark Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields and academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Today's featured guest is Jett. Dylan is a rising star from Australia. He is a self-taught musician, singer, songwriter, and actor. Dylan talks about his passion for music and the work it takes to succeed in any venture.
Hello and welcome to the talk show, Lighting the Educational Flame, brought to you by Great Success Education. I'm your host, Mark Hoberman, and today's guest is Australian singer, songwriter, actor, Jett. Dylan, welcome to Lighting the Educational Flame.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. And I have to tell you, the viewers out there, if you're a teenager, it's not easy to get Dylan during school time because he's very serious about his work. So that's all great stuff. So, and also, it's interesting, I read a couple of articles on you. So I didn't go, but September 9th, I had follow-up tickets. It's supposed to be from last May to see Michael Bublé in concert. And I know you're a fan. I'm a very big fan. But sadly, we punked out. Things are upticking a little bit here. We are vaccinated, but as you know, the world has changed. But it's usually when I say the word Michael Bublé to someone your age, I either get laughed at or they say who. So I am so thrilled. No good music. And you have such a big eclectic taste in music. I think that's outstanding. So
thank you. He's a classic.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It makes me feel old when I see that someone your age has accomplished so much already. And you're still a teenager. You're 18?
Yeah, 18.
Oh, unbelievable. You just ruined my weekend. But anyway, where does that drive and determination come from for a teenager?
Honestly, it's just because I love it. Like, it's like the ability to do something that I love every day. Right. And creating music and acting is just, I do it because I really enjoy it.
Right. And there's so much to it. You don't just sing music, you write music. You don't just sing and write music, you play music.
Yeah.
So, and because your age, obviously you have to balance school and a career simultaneously, which is not easy under normal circumstances. And we've had 16 months of abnormal circumstances. So what strategies do you use to maintain that healthy balance between school and entertainment?
It's all about organization. It took a very, very long time to get everything right, because I'd always end up having to skip a couple classes here and there and stuff for commercials and different little acting jobs and different interviews and stuff, which I still do, but it's occasionally. It doesn't really take a massive hit to my studies. And my mum will not let me flunk out of school. I have to work hard. I have to study as much as possible. And yeah, it's just kind of a balance, not sacrificing either one. Just, yeah, it's time organization, I guess.
Excellent. Now, I don't know if you know that Great Success Education is my education company, my tutoring company. And we actually do time management courses. And you could probably teach one because how you do the balance is truly unbelievable. And it's interesting. You said, sometimes I have to skip classes. So in the States, skip classes means you're in school and you skip and cut the class that period and you hide out in the bathroom or on the football field and then you come back. So, it's great. And I'm sure your teachers work with you and they respect what you do because you're doing it the right way. And you're doing it with a good message. And, we mentioned earlier that you taught yourself how to play the piano. I took piano lessons for a while and now I just play chords, but I don't think I could have taught myself. Tell us about your earlier years of learning how to play.
So I did, when I was very young, I did take a couple lessons for classical piano and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't blend well with it and I wasn't really getting anywhere. And then my dad, he's a sound engineer. So he plays piano, guitar, everything. And I remember he played one song for me that he made with a certain method to playing, which I hadn't really seen before, where my left hand was doing most of the work and the chords were always moving and fluctuating. And I copied everything he did for that one song. And then with that one song, I just like went from there and I applied it to all my music and that same technique. And then with that, I've just been able to, over the years, just keep on learning. And yeah, from him showing me really just one chord, and one short song, I was able to learn everything else.
Well, the average person who hears that saying, what? Because yeah, I did the chord, I did the song and everything else, but this everything else is tremendous. When you're piano playing, can you sit down, hear a song and you start playing it, or is your piano playing melded more with your writing and then you sit at the piano and you start to write a song? What is that about?
Well, just like playing in general, I'm 100% by ear. If I listen to a song like 3 or 4 times, I'm able to get down the chords and know it pretty well to the point where I could play it for someone. Because I have relative pitch, which it isn't perfect pitch, but it's like perfect pitch for one note. And then I just work all the other notes from knowing that one note. So if you play me a song, if I listen to it like 2 times, I'll be able to perform it to at least a decent extent. And with writing, well, my process of writing my songs usually comes from piano first, but I just mess around with random chords. And then when I find a chord progression that I like, I start writing melodies over it, and then it leads to lyrics.
Are these, not to get too technical, but, major chords, major fifths, sevenths, are they those kind of advanced chords, or you just hit those notes and you happen to hit the chord and it's the right chord because you have that gift?
Well, I do that too. I just kind of randomly, but I love my sevenths. I love my ninths as well,
right?
Which I've been
I didn't
able
even mention
to
ninths. I figured, how far can I take this? But yeah. It's interesting because I played the clarinet for 30, 40 years. At one time in high school, I was very, very good. And as much as I love it, and I'm much better on the clarinet than the piano, you play the clarinet alone, it gets kind of dull after a while. But that piano just is really can be an extension of your whole soul. And really can play some beautiful, beautiful melodies just on your own. So that's got to be a wonderful thing. You can do that.
Yeah, I've been able to blend chords now where it's like I'll play a C major with an A minor and just together they sound so beautiful. And it's just different random chords. Like all the chords weirdly kind of work together. And any 2 chords, you can make something amazing out of it.
That's outstanding. And when we talk about entertainment and the playing and the singing, and it's professional. Entertainment might be loads of fun, but it's called the entertainment business for a reason. I know you're an actor. I know you've won awards. I know you've worked with Russell Crowe. People looking at you think you should be about 50 years old with all these things that I'm saying that you've done already. But, and many others. But, I've talked to a number of child actors. I've talked to another number of singers, people on The Voice and even on American Idol and such. What have you learned about the business of entertainment? Keeping in mind you're 18, but you're now part of the entertainment business.
One of the main things, which I learned at a very young age, but it was probably the toughest to learn, is just, I think it's about resilience, because especially in the acting industry, in the music industry as well, but in the acting industry, you face a lot of rejection. Like, your agents will tell you should be getting one call back out of 20 auditions. So that's 20 times you go for something and you don't necessarily get it. And any actor would know, like, that's very, like, there's a lot of rejection. There's you're not going to get every role. And it's just becoming resilient to that. But luckily I was thrown into the water diviner with Russell Crowe at such a young age. I was thrown into the deep end, so it made it a bit easier to grow that resilience and be able to keep strong in the industry.
Oh, absolutely, and that resilience has served you well during a pandemic, also because you're as busy now as in what we'll call normal times. Let's say, I know in 2020 you released 4 songs. Many people in 2020 released The Couch, and that's about all they released. But you released 4 songs. What can you tell us about? So I saw Tokyo. First of all, I think I have a decent eye. I love I don't know if we're going to call them your video team, your whatever, but it is so polished and so fun. And it has such a great vibe. And this is an older person telling you this, but it's not what I expected to hear when they said, oh, check out his song, Tokyo. So who wrote that and what's the message behind it?
Me and Nico wrote that. And it was my manager, Nico Larson. Him and me wrote that together. And it's a really fun song, Tokyo. The beat was made by Rob Agosti, which is our producer. So he sent us over the beat, just like a really rough draft of the beat. And then we just started writing. Nico wrote like the melody of the choruses and stuff. And then I added some lyrics, and then I worked on the verses and the second verse, the rap part. And
I'm going to ask you about the rap part, right? Because I know that was you without you telling me that was you, because you don't expect that. You're hearing, you're watching, and you're enjoying, and then all of a sudden this cool rap beat. Oh, wait, did I hit the second song by mistake? What's going on over here? It's really blended so well, but I will say, although I know you're an actor, I've taught long enough, over 3 decades, you're not acting the fun you're having when you're performing. I can see that coming through. It's not like, cut, thank God, let me get the hell out of here. So it's just, It just looks like you don't want it to end.
It's what I love. And like working on music, I love both sides of it. I love performing what I've worked on and my music, and I love making the music and the whole process leading up to it. So even though that's such a fun process, when I finally get to perform it, or when I'm filming the music video and we're out and about and I'm just like lip syncing it and stuff, it's a really good feeling. And just sharing my creativity with other people.
I'm so glad that you talked about the creativity, but more importantly, the process, because people think, they wrote this song for Dylan. He pulled up in his car. He came out. He shot it and went home. They just don't know. And I say this on the show all the time. We know the glory, but we don't always know the story. So the rejection was one piece of what you say is difficult and about the business. But what obstacles besides rejection do you have when there's writing obstacles? I mean, you have to be a producing machine. This is a business where if you're not productive, you're not remembered and you're no longer in. So what obstacles have you had kind of musically and in the acting career besides the rejection, the work, the balance of the life and the work?
When we're talking like, we'll start with music. When we're talking like just the amount of work you have to put in, I'm constantly writing. I'd say I'm writing a new song every day. It's become just like, it's just, even if I don't use that song ever, it's just something you've got to practice, and working with different chords and melodies and lyrics in each song. Even if you scrap it, it's finding a new way to do something that you didn't do the day before. And with working with Nico and everything, it's a lot. Like he's so like on point, and I love it. He's able to send me like a new track every day, or he's able to send me new tracks so often, like just a basic draft of a beat. And with, like you said, that you appreciate that I do a lot of my writing. I make sure I can do as much as possible. Because before I started like releasing my own music, and before all of this, it was just me writing in my room. And I would say I love writing just as much, if not more, than actually singing and performing, because it's like, it's my own body of work. So I always want to have as much creative choice in my music as possible. But it's a lot of work.
That's great. And it's not just work like school work. It's not work like the job after school at the mall. I'm not demeaning any of those things that do, but it's work on another level. So talking about another level, most I'll say kids or people your age don't have to deal with the next thing that I'm going to ask you about. When people get older, many times people try to befriend adults or coworkers, because what they think they can get out of them, what they can do for them. And 95% of teenagers don't really, they have their own problems, but no one's really befriending them to get something out of them. But let's call it what it is. You know, you're a rising star, you're in the limelight, you're on YouTube, you're doing your thing. How is your, for lack of a better term, how is your BS radar? How is your, you know, this person's not authentic? Because even though you're more mature than most 18-year-olds, you know, I can tell you that straight up. But that's got to be something you have to deal with.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of my life, I've had to deal with that, or at least kept it in mind. Ever since the Water Diviner, I've just been like, kind of, I've had my eye out, but it hasn't been able to distract me. Because usually I'm like, I'm naturally, I feel I'm like polite, and I always want to talk to people. Like if someone comes up to me and it's they want to be friends with me, I'll happy to have a talk and a discussion, and like I'm quite social when it comes to that. But I always just like keep it in the back of my mind. But luckily I haven't had to face too much of that. Most of the time, close to all of the time, like a lot of the people who I end up being friends with, it's really genuine. And I don't even, there isn't that much of a connection between them and like what I do, like acting and singing. It's kind of like a separate, like we don't talk about that much. We just kind of chill and hang out, and yeah.
How old are you when the Water Diviner?
I was 11.
Wow. Okay. Big deal.
Yeah.
So now people are seeing you, recognizing you, and you know, it's a big deal. And it's great that you have your head on straight. And I hope people, parents, and any teens who are watching this can see that you can have it all. You can succeed. You can be in the so-called limelight. But it's wonderful. I love to interview people who are doing this because it's really their passion. The fact that it is a business. You want it to generate revenue and things like that. But I don't think that's even fourth or fifth on your list. And so, you know, that I think is a big deal. And your next single is due out the middle of this month. So what can you tell us about Break My Heart?
So Break My Heart is coming out 17th of September. So pretty soon in at least Australia. It's this Friday. But yeah, it's I really love this track. It's different to Tokyo and my one before that, Packing. It's just each single, since like working with Nico, we haven't been working with each other for a long, long time. This will be the third single that we're releasing together. So it's kind of, we're just experimenting and trying completely different sounds to see what sticks. So this one's a bit more, it's poppy, but it's more like kind of a darker sound to it. Okay. And
is there a message? Is there a message in the song?
For this one, like Tokyo was filled with a bunch of lyrics and fast raps and stuff. But for this one, I kind of just want to let the melody speak. So there's like lyrics, but it's not too deep. Like I want, like, it's just the sound. I want people to just hear the sound, and yeah.
well, there's creating the music and there's performing the music. And obviously you could, in a pandemic, you could create a ton of music, but you can't perform a ton of that music. Luckily, through YouTube videos and all different media outlets and stuff, you can. But when we talk about live performing, when's the last time you performed live?
Last time I performed live, I was actually able to a few months ago, I think late July, but that was with my side thing. It's a band that I'm in with my brother. My brother's also a musician, and that
how old is your brother? How old is your brother?
He's 21. Yeah. And our band's a bit more rock, but it's I love going up and performing just any music and anything. But last time I performed Dylan Jett was January, which was a great show. I really enjoyed that.
I'm sure.
But yeah, it's been like rough with, you know, quarantine, pandemic.
Sure.
Most like musicians and actors alike, we've been.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's great to join. It's been difficult, but it's great that you include. I don't know why you let somebody so old be in your band, a 21-year-old, but you know, it's your brother, so you got to give him you know, his props there. But so let's talk about school. Let's talk about education. What is your studying like, and what's it like now? I believe there's a lockdown on school in your area now. Here in the States, everybody pretty much is back in school, most with masks, and there's lots of arguments here at PTA meetings. I don't want my son to wear a mask and that kind of thing, but I know it's a worse situation where you are. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, currently we are in like the toughest lockdown. So I can't go further than 5Ks from my house. 2 hours of exercise a day, curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. So
this isn't a school. This is a big lockdown. This is a country.
Yeah, it's a big lockdown.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
It should be ending pretty soon, the next few weeks. But yeah, with school, all of it is online right now, which is tough because I personally have ADHD. So it's like
welcome to my world, but go ahead.
Yeah. So just attention and focusing has always been rough for me. Rough in an environment that is meant for studying, let alone my room. So it's been hard to focus, but it's
so interesting. Yeah, so interesting because it's hard for anyone to focus now. But I'm so proud of you for opening up and saying something about that, because for the younger people who watch the show, that could be a badge of honor. There is no shame in that whatsoever. And I can tell you there are teachers I've seen and dealt with who said, "Oh, that kid has ADHD. When he's off his meds, he's crazy," and that kind of stuff. And you know, there are teachers I've seen who are the best teachers I've ever seen. That when school went to Zoom, these are people with 25 years experience who could only spell Zoom. They couldn't operate Zoom. So the first 3 or 4 weeks. And they've got 11-year-olds telling them, no, Mrs. Johnson, you want to click here. If you want us to chat, we should go there. So all this comes together. And, you know, it's so interesting to me that, focus, but there's academic focus and there's life focus. And it's amazing that you've done both. So a 12-year-old boy or girl comes up to you and says, "Hey, I want to do what you do." And you say,
I would say just start creating, like do as much as possible. In this like day and age, we're so lucky with sites like with sites like TikTok, with apps like TikTok. It's so like right at your fingertips. You can get out there and start posting consistently and start releasing your work on Spotify or YouTube or anything. And it's a long process. It takes a long time, longer than most people would like. But if you really love it, you just got to keep on creating and create as many contacts as possible. Make as many friends as you can who do the same thing as you do and collaborate with them. And especially make sure that, you know, while you're doing that, you're enjoying it as well. Because I think meeting other people who are doing the same thing you do and working on them with projects and constantly releasing, hearing feedback and trying to better your work is the process for me, is the best part. I would say it's even better than the final result, because the work is like, while you're working, it's just like, this is why I do it. This is what I love. But
we talk on the show a lot about golden answers. I think that was a platinum answer, because you started with the work. You know, you didn't start with, "Oh, you're going to love this. People are going to be clawing at you and dancing to your music." Create. You know, someone says to you, "I want to be in the limelight and I want to do what you do." And you start with, "Okay, here's the homework that you have to do to get to this level." And they just, a lot of people don't realize it. You know, we're in a world now, you could write a song tonight and 10 o'clock, 20,000 people could hear it. You know, when I was 18, if I yelled out my window, maybe 9 people would hear it if I sang a song. But with the media, it's a double-edged sword, but it's a wonderful thing that there's so many ways to get out there and create and write. And you ended with and have fun. We are all, both you and I are too familiar with child actors who have not had a good adulthood because they never had a childhood. And
it was tough. It was, for me, the hard part was going from being in the limelight and being on such a big stage and having everyone know me, to going back to school and kind of having to adjust to regular life, obviously with a lot of experience now and a lot of like life knowledge, I guess, from going to Turkey and LA for the first time. But it was definitely tough, just like getting used to like normal again. And it was rough because like, not when you get something like that, you expect, or just your mind thinks that it's just going to be like that now. Right. And then when you go back to school, it's kind of just a tough, like, you know, I should be doing this, I should be doing this. But I'm really glad it happened that way, because I feel like I had my teenage years. I've been able to have a childhood. I've been able to do the stupid things with your friends and stuff. And now I'm able to finally, you know, work on music more and get somewhere with,
That's great. And I heard you mention LA. So any plans in the future, near future, to come back to the States, come to LA and New York?
100%. Yeah. As soon as we're able to, as soon as stuff opens up, I would love to go down there and start working with anyone, working with some producers, and just seeing what we can do. I think that's been my favorite part of all of the music stuff so far, is meeting up with people that I've never met before. And that day, we've just created a whole new song and a whole new piece. It's so much fun. I can't wait to get back to it. Right.
I think the name of your next album may have to be called Process, because you're so into that and it's so important, but you thrive on that. And I think that's,
I love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's great stuff. So Dylan, Jett, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your passion for music and for education. Where can we learn more about you and see your music?
You can look at me on Instagram, or if you YouTube my name, search it up on YouTube or Spotify. And just listen to my music and see if you like it. And thank you so much for having me as well.
Oh, such a pleasure. And to the viewers, this is Mark Hoberman thanking you for watching Light of the Educational Flame. Catch us on Monday nights, 9 p.m. EST on E360 TV, on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. And remember, we are 24/7 on the Lighting the Educational Flame YouTube channel. Have a great day. Dylan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Lighting the Educational Flame. To contact Mark Hoberman, email him at info@gradesuccess.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Lighting the Educational Flame.